We sometimes need to pass parameters to a route. For example, to navigate to the product detail view, we need to define which product's details to display. The first step to passing parameters to a route is to configure the route with a parameter. Here we add a third route that routes to our product detail component. We give it a name and specify the component just like the other routes. The difference is in the path. We add a slash, a colon, and a variable to hold the parameter. If multiple parameters are needed, we'd repeat this with another slash, colon, and variable. We then define where the user will activate this link. It is there we set the router link and pass in the required parameter. In this example, we add a router link to an anchor tag and assign it to the link parameters array. The first element of the array, like always, is the string name of the route. The second element of the array is an object defining a route parameter. The property of the object is the parameter defined in the route configuration. This key must exactly match the route parameter name. After the colon, we define the value of the parameter. When the router composes the URL, it uses this array element to construct the defined parameter. Lastly, when the product detail view is displayed, the product detail component gets this parameter from the URL. It then uses the parameter to retrieve the appropriate product and display it in the view. To get the parameter from the URL, we use the route param service provided by the component router. To use this service, we import it. We want an instance of the service, so we define it as a dependency in our constructor. Then we use the instance of the route param service to get the desired parameter. The string parameter passed into the get method must match the name of the parameter from the path. Let's give this a try. We are back in the app component, so we can add the new route. I'm sure you know immediately why we're seeing a syntax error here. Yep, we need to import the product detail component. Looking back at the route, here in the path we provide any parameters prefixed with a colon and separated by slashes. For the product detail component, we need to pass a product ID so the view knows which product's detail to display. Next, we need to decide where to tie this route to a user action. We can't add the product detail to the menu because we don't have an easy way for the user to specify the ID of the desired product. Let's instead modify the list of products in the product list view such that each product is a link. Then the user can click on the product to display its details. In the product list template, we'll add an anchor tag so the product name becomes a link. We add the router link directive to the anchor tag and set up the link parameters array. In the array, we define the name of the route to activate in the first element and pass the parameter in the second element. In the route configuration path, we define the parameter name as ID, so we use that same name here. We assign the ID to the product's ID. Now that we've used a routing directive in this component's template, we need to update the component. We need to add the routing directive to the directives array defined as part of the component directive metadata. Recall that the router provides a constant for this. We simply add router directives here. And we of course need the import statement. When we view the result in the browser, we see that the product names are now links. And if we click a link, we see the ID in the URL, and we navigate to the product detail component. Yay! But that component does not yet get the parameter from the URL. Let's do that next. We add code to the product detail component to get the parameter passed in on the URL. We use the route params service provided by the router to help us. First, we'll import the service. We don't have to register this service because we already registered the provider for this service in the app component. We then set route params as a dependency by defining it as a parameter to the constructor function, like this. The route params instance is then injected into this component class. Here is the code we need. We first get the ID from the route and store it in a local variable. We'll use let, which is new in ES 2015 and defines a block scoped variable. We then use this ._routeparams.get to get the parameter. We pass in the name of the parameter we want to get. The parameter name we defined in the route configuration is ID, so that's the parameter name we specify here. And because the parameter is provided as a string, we'll add a plus here at the beginning. The plus is a JavaScript shortcut to convert the parameter string to a numeric ID. To make it easy to see the ID we got from the URL, we display it as part of the page title. Here we use the ES 2015 backticks to define a template string and display the ID. Let's see the result in the browser. Click the menu option to display the product list. Then click a product. The URL changes to include the parameter and the product detail page is displayed. If everything worked, the title displays the same parameter as shown in the URL. Yay! To get back to the product list, we could use the menu option here, but it would be nicer to have a back button. Let's add a back button and see how to activate a route with code.